In a climate-controlled vault at Yale University sits a book that no human being on Earth can read. In 600 years, nobody has deciphered a single sentence of it. Not medieval scholars, not the codebreakers who cracked the Axis ciphers of World War II, not modern artificial intelligence. It is roughly 240 pages of confident, flowing handwriting in an alphabet that exists nowhere else. No one knows who wrote it. No one knows why. And the closer experts look, the stranger it gets. The story of how it surfaced begins in 1912 at a crumbling Jesuit college called the Villa Mondragone in the hills outside Rome. The order needed money, and it quietly offered to sell part of its library. A Polish-born rare book dealer named Wilfred Voynich was invited to inspect the collection on the condition that he keep the sale secret. Among the volumes was a small, unassuming manuscript about the size of a modern hardcover. When Voynich opened it, he saw page after page of looping, elegant script in a writing system he had never encountered, and this was a man who had handled thousands of medieval books. He bought it on the spot, along with about 30 other manuscripts. He would spend the rest of his life trying to find out what he had purchased. He never did. So what exactly had he bought? The manuscript is written on vellum, prepared calfskin, by what appears to be a fast, practiced hand. There are almost no corrections. Several pages fold out into large diagrams, an unusual and expensive feature for the period. And not one other document written in this script has ever been found anywhere in the world. The text contains around 170,000 characters, forming roughly 35,000 words, built from an alphabet of perhaps 20 to 25 core symbols. The words obey rules. Certain characters appear only at the beginnings of words, others only at the ends. And then there are the pictures. The largest section shows plants, more than 100 of them, drawn in careful detail, except that almost none of them match any plant known to botany. Another section holds circular astronomical diagrams, zodiac symbols, and stars. A third shows something genuinely bizarre, small drawings of women bathing in pools of green liquid, connected by networks of tubes that look almost organic. The final section is page after page of dense text marked with stars, like recipes. Recipes for what? Nobody can say. For decades, skeptics had an easy answer. It had to be a modern fake, perhaps by Voynich himself. In 2009, that theory died. Researchers at the University of Arizona carbon-dated the vellum and got a result with 95% confidence. The calfskin was prepared between 1404 and 1438. Chemical analysis of the ink found nothing inconsistent with the same period. The book really is about 600 years old, which raises a harder question. Where had it been all that time? There is a paper trail, and it runs through one of the strangest courts in European history. Folded into the manuscript, Voynich found a letter dated 1665, written by Johannes Marcus Marci, rector of the University of Prague. Marci was sending the book to Athanasius Kircher, a celebrated Jesuit scholar in Rome who claimed he could decipher anything. Kircher had already published supposed translations of Egyptian hieroglyphs, which later scholarship showed to be almost entirely wrong. If he ever cracked the Voynich text, no trace of his solution survives. In the letter, Marci passed along a rumor that the Holy Roman Emperor Rudolph II had once paid 600 gold ducats for the manuscript, believing it was the work of Roger Bacon, the 13th-century English friar and scientist. Rudolph, who ruled from Prague, collected alchemists, astrologers, and wonders, so the story fits him. And there is physical evidence the book really did pass through his court. Under ultraviolet light, a faded, erased signature appears on the first page, Jacobus de Tepanek, the name of Rudolph's own imperial chemist, who died in 1622. After that, the book moved from a Prague alchemist named George Baresch to Marci to Kircher in Rome, and then it vanished into Jesuit archives for nearly 250 years until Voynich walked into the Villa Mondragone. The book was real. The history was real. So surely the 20th century could read it. The best codebreakers alive certainly thought so. William Friedman is widely considered the greatest cryptologist America ever produced. His team broke Purple, Japan's diplomatic cipher, before Pearl Harbor. In 1944, with the war still raging, Friedman gathered military codebreakers in Washington into an after-hours study group to attack the Voynich manuscript. These were people who dismantled enemy cipher systems for a living. Against this 15th century book, they got nothing. Friedman kept at it, on and off, for some 40 years, and in the early 1960s he convened a second study group, this time with access to early computers. The machines found patterns. They found no meaning. Across the Atlantic, John Tiltman, a brigadier and one of Bletchley Park's most gifted cryptanalysts, took his own run at it and came away empty, concluding the text was no simple cipher of the kind a medieval scribe could have produced. Consider what that means. Ciphers from the 1400s are, by modern standards, toys. Specialists armed with statistics, computers, and centuries of accumulated technique should break them in days. This book has now held out through more than a century of professional attention. Friedman did leave one final message, and he made sure nobody could read it until he was gone. Before his death in 1969, Friedman hid his personal conclusion inside an anagram published in a scholarly journal, a way to timestamp his opinion without revealing it. Decoded later, it said the Voynich Manuscript was likely an early attempt to construct an artificial language, a language built from scratch, with its own internal logic, rather than a cipher concealing Latin or English. It was an educated guess, not a solution, but it pointed at the manuscript's deepest problem. The text behaves like a real language. Word frequencies follow Zipf's law, the same mathematical pattern found in English, Latin, and Chinese. In the 1970s, an American naval cryptologist named Prescott Currier found something stranger still. The manuscript contains two statistically distinct dialects, written in more than one handwriting, as if several authors were fluent in whatever this is. Gibberish should not work that way. Yet in other ways the text is unlike any natural language on record. Words often repeat 2 or 3 times in a row, and nearly identical words appear side by side across a single line, a kind of stuttering no known tongue produces. In 2004, the psychologist Gordon Rugg pushed back, showing that a 16th century grill technique could mass-produce convincing Voynich-like nonsense, reviving the hoax theory. Other researchers countered that the deeper statistics of the text are too language-like for that trick. The argument has never been settled. So in the 21st century, we handed the problem to machines. In 2018, computer scientists at the University of Alberta ran the text through an algorithm trained to identify languages and announced a candidate. Hebrew, scrambled into alphabetically ordered anagrams. Headlines declared the case closed. Then Hebrew scholars examined the resulting translations and found them close to meaningless. In 2019, a British academic claimed the text was a lost Proto-Romance language, and within days the University of Bristol withdrew its own press release as linguists dismantled the theory. Claimed solutions now arrive almost yearly, and each one collapses under inspection. Voynich researchers have a saying: everyone sees their own obsession reflected in its pages. Medieval Latin, Old Turkish, Hebrew, and Aztec herbal, channeled nonsense, an elaborate joke. The manuscript has been declared all of these, and proven to be none of them. And so the book sits at Yale, where the dealer haunts. Krauss donated it in 1969, after buying it from Voynich's estate for $24,500 and failing to find a buyer at his asking price of $160,000. Today it is cataloged, almost modestly, as Beinecke MS 408, and every page is online in high resolution. Yale published the scans precisely so the whole world could try. Thousands of people do, every year. Here is what makes it linger in the mind. Either someone 600 years ago created a fake so sophisticated that it mimics statistical fingerprints of human language that would not be discovered for another 5 centuries, or someone wrote 240 fluent pages in a language that has left no other trace on Earth. Both answers seem impossible. One of them is true. If stories like this keep you thinking long after the screen goes dark, there are more true mysteries waiting on this channel.